Hi everyone, my name is Simon Mishevich from Optimise Accountants, and I want to introduce Radu to you. He's a property sourcer in my hometown, Nottingham, the great Nottingham of the United Kingdom. I'm not a property sourcer, by the way. I am a property tax specialist, but I wanted to introduce you to property sourcers in local areas. And Radu is here to talk about Nottingham. So, Radu, welcome to our show. Please introduce yourself to our audience.
Yeah, first of all, thank you for having me, Simon. It's quite a pleasure to do a video with you. Yeah, so my name is Radu. I'm originally from Romania. I've been living in quite a lot of places, to be honest. I've been studying in Hong Kong. I've been living in London. I've been living in Italy as well. So I've been traveling quite a lot. I'm passionate about precision, relationship, and open communication. I've worked in the engineering industry. I've worked in the gemology industry. So, so to speak, all of my experience has now been focused in providing tailored solutions for property investors and making sure that they make the right decision, backed by data and hands-on experience in the Nottingham investment market.
I mean, the reason why I reached out to you, not only are you in Nottingham, but one of the things that I liked about your profile was very much about helping hands-free investing. And just to give the audience a background to myself, is I've always been busy, whether as a consultant or in my property tax business. And as a result of that, I do not have the time, like many of you watching this video, to look at properties, to look at Rightmove and do leaflet dropping or go to attend auctions, which, let's be fair about it, we don't know what we're doing in those places apart from waving our hands and paying 7 million for a one-bedroom flat.
Yeah.
Not a good idea. So we need people like Radu. And that's what I liked about your particular um, profile. Now, tell me about just adding on to what I've said, actually, in terms of the type of people you support, and give me a kind of a profile.
So I generally work with people that are busy. That's most of my investors, to be honest. Uh, I usually tell people this is a very uh, demanding service. So, in demanding in what way? I'm with my feet on the ground. I work very long hours. I'm responsible for all my lead generation. So yeah, you're right. Direct to vendor letters, leaflet campaigns, online marketing as well. So those things go in the same time, and it's quite time consuming. Quite time consuming, obviously, and resource. But when it comes to resources, those will quite go fast as well. So it's very, I position myself as helping someone with a bespoke service when it comes to them making the right decision based on their needs. To give you a recent example, a good client of mine just onboarded, and he needs to relocate to Nottingham because of his work. He wants to buy a property at a price he that is affordable for him, and he wants to also transform it in the long term after he lives here, because his child needs to go to an outstanding or good school. He wants to live here for a couple of years and then transform it into a buy to let. That's, a good investment. So I map out the entire criteria that he needs in his life at this moment, and I make sure I fulfill it, and I create a legacy. I always check the legacy point of view of everything that I do because my role here is to create a legacy, and I want the client that I work with to not buy one property, to buy 10 properties, to buy 15 properties, to create a pipeline that will empower him, the next generations to come.
I like that. I like that. Okay, so let's go through your slides then. Let's talk about the detail about Nottingham investing. So what have we got?
I don't know if can you see them? Can you see the
Yes,
slides?
I can. Yes, perfectly.
Yeah, so just a tiny bit about me. I've already said I've been traveling quite a lot. I've been working in the gemology industry. The people that don't know what that is about the diamond industry. I've been working with companies from China. I've been working in London. I've been working in Italy as well. My vision at the moment is helping people achieve their needs and guiding them through that. the mission is to be able to help as much people as possible, specifically people that, let's say, have gaps when it comes to investment and their knowledge. And my values are integrity. I strongly believe I'm a people's person. I communicate very well, and I'm always there to give value first. And that comes with good referrals and making sure everyone's happy. Um, just a tiny bit about me. Yeah, I use my loyal model. So this is kind of branded to me, to be completely honest. And when I look for a property, it's strictly about location, opportunity, yield. You have to somehow compare properties between them, affordability, and it needs to go through this loop of legacy. It's very important for my company to make sure that provides this idea of leaving something behind. That's very important for me and very important for my clients. So when it comes to location, obviously I know the pockets of opportunity in Nottingham. I'm not gonna say the areas. I kind of keep those things for myself. However, doing long hours and talking with a lot of real estate agents, auctioneers, obviously I have quite a big network when it comes to property traders like myself. So I know very well where the properties that are suitable for good investment are. So when it comes to location, I'm pretty confident in when I choose a property in a specific location. Opportunity. It needs to be a win-win situation. The person that sells the property, or the person, it can be a portfolio, a landlord that sells their portfolio. It can be a referral from an estate agent. It can be someone that comes from my lead generation, from I don't know, from online marketing, or they see my banners that I've put already all around Nottingham, or they see some of my leaflets, or they see a direct vendor letter that I sent. Um, it needs to be a win-win situation, and usually that happens because people are sometimes the sellers are sometimes stuck in life. They need to sell fast for whatever reason. It's a divorce. They can put the property on the open market, or it's a negative equity, or something happened in their life. And that's where I come in and I facilitate. I bring the investor that's looking to buy a good investment, and I bridge it with the person that wants to sell it. That's where I come in. I facilitate this bridge, which is very important to be a win-win situation and facilitate a good investment as a moving forward. Yield is about, well, net yield is about comparing properties between them. Obviously, when it comes to criterias, people don't, you'll be surprised, but people don't really look that much on numbers when I'm referring to investors. They really look more at where are they in this point of their life, what they want to achieve. And yes, if from the numbers point of view, if that makes sense for them, but they value more if they can relocate, if it's hands-free, if it doesn't create a lot of headache. So yield is important, don't get me wrong. However, there are other criterias that need to be checked, and it's not all everything about numbers.
Can I just
Affordability.
interject? Can I
Sorry.
interject? No, that's good. There's a couple of points I want to just highlight, and
Sure.
again, I just reflecting on my your particular profile of clients is probably what I used to be, whereby I would be far too busy. I had generated a good income from my employment, my business activities. I
Yeah.
didn't need income, so yield, you're right. I was always looking for pension. So put it money into an asset that I know would generate capital growth
Yeah.
over the long period of time. Just on, I know you don't want to give out too much information, but one thing I would say, if you want to do investing, Nottingham is a great location. I'm just going to give you my 2 minutes worth here. Probably not that, to be fair, but Nottingham is a great place. I used to live there. Of course, I'm going to say that. But the reason why I think Nottingham is a great location, you've got the universities. In fact, you've got two universities. You've got plenty of colleges now being developed.
Yeah.
So education is a huge marketplace in Nottingham. And
Yeah.
you've still got manufacturing, you've still got boots. But one thing I would say is the hospital, QMC, Queen's Medical Centre, and City Hospital are magnificent sizes, and both hospitals are doing such developments, and they need doctors and nurses. And one of my when I was doing lettings in that area, I would buy flats, and then I would have doctors that would come from London, work maybe in Nottingham for 3 days doing some personal or private work. and then go back to London. And those locations were perfect. So I just want to echo the point that Radu is making that Nottingham is a fantastic location to purchase property. So hopefully I've
Uh,
not said anything too wrong here, Radu.
it's not about that. So the way I approach the way when I have a discussion with an investor,
Mm,
I always zoom out a little bit and tell them that when you buy in Nottingham, you're buying through a legacy point of view because Nottingham is still an emerging city. There's still there. If you look on the council website, there are plans to build 50,000 new homes. There are plans to develop in so many ways to create a greater Nottingham. Nottingham is what Manchester was 2 decades ago. So if you understand how to position yourself in the market, just from the capital growth point of view, it'll be a huge win, especially when it comes to legacy. Of course, you have rental increases, you have rental income. That's a bonus. But strictly when it comes to investing and understanding that where Nottingham will be in a couple of years, only that pushes the capital growth hugely, hugely. Yeah.
yeah. And anyone who didn't know, that picture there is Robin Hood. So, if
Oh
you're
yeah, sorry, I
not
forgot
familiar with
about.
Nottingham, so the person
Yeah,
who apparently robbed from the rich gives to the poor, maybe that
yeah.
legacy needs to be looked at in a bit more detail.
Nottingham is a city full of stories. It's a brilliant place to live. Nottingham is truly, truly a family city.
Hmm.
Of course, there are a lot of students. Of course, there's a lot of rental demand. But when it comes as a whole picture, this is the kind of place where I will want to grow my children. 100%. The crimes, don't get me wrong, there's crime everywhere in the United Kingdom. When it comes specifically to Nottingham, this is still a place where I feel I'm way safer than most cities in the United Kingdom, and I think that says something. I truly believe that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, where was I? Legacy. Oh, sorry,
Affordability.
affordability. It's very important that each investment aligns with your personal circumstances. So I always recommend an interest-only mortgage. I always recommend, first of all, I establish a connection with my investor. I always try to go for a coffee, go for as many meetings as possible, get to know each other, because at the end of the day, I'm here for the long run. I want to build relationships. I want to empower people. I want to give as much value as possible for you to make the right decision, for the investor to make the right decision. That's crucial for me because I don't work with other types of people. I only work with people that understand what I'm doing, understand my service, understand my hard work, and I just want to create a relationship with that person and make sure that he is more than happy and understands the long game. That's very, very important. So in order to do that, we need to look at affordability. What can you do with what you have?
Hmm.
So yeah,
Perfect.
um, legacy, it's is the reason I've got into property. I'll be completely honest. I want to leave something behind me. I genuinely want to leave something behind me, and I want to have a big family. I'm a family guy. I want to have a big family. I want to be able to say that I've done well in life, and I want to be able to say that my children have something when they will turn 18 years old or 20 years old. So that's the way I see it. Every property that I choose goes through the legacy loop, and usually people understand and if they have a family resonate with that point of view as well. Yeah.
Perfect.
Let me go to what makes property a great investment. So it truly is an inflation-proof asset. It truly beats inflation. Just to give some context, in the areas, I always put conservative numbers. I have a advanced analyzer, and when it comes to capital growth, I always put conservative numbers. The reality is those numbers are always higher, but I need to come from a place where I'm conservative. I need to come from a place where people understand that what I'm doing, I'm always taking the worst case scenario as well. It's very important for me to protect my client in all situations, tax implications. or to make sure that they're making an investment that they can see a clear projection, capital growth. What are the regenerations that are in the area? What are the changes that will come in the area? Infrastructural changes. Maybe there'll be a new park built, or they will demolish a park. So there's multiple angles that I look at in order to make sure that capital growth will not only be the same, but will actually go up. Um,
Just on that point, Radu, the one thing I would say is working with someone who's objective,
yeah.
independent from you. So, one thing I've seen from people I've worked with in the past is that they'll do due diligence, they'll buy a spreadsheet from someone, talk about due diligence when they're looking for an investment on their own without any support at all. And what I will say to you is this. You will at some point manipulate those numbers to make the deal work on paper. And that is why I firmly believe working with people like Radu, who is independent, more objective than you'll ever be, will protect you from you. I hope that makes sense.
Oh, that's true, and people don't understand that the numbers most of the time don't tell the truth. I'll give a simple example. People really believe that NG1 and NG7 are high yield opportunities. I'm not saying they're not, but if you look at what's happening there, if you walk the streets, if you understand student demand, rental demand, how to sample student rentals, if you understand from an analytical point of view and you walk the streets and you know exactly what's the occupancy rate in that area, so people make huge mistakes. You need to be able to talk with as many estate agents in the area to understand their point of view. You need to go to viewings in that area to understand exactly what's in demand. You need to understand that HMOs in that area, they're simply not letting anymore. So it, those type of interesting facts can only come from someone that's local, that goes there, that understands it's not the best investment. It just looks good on paper, but if you have 90% voids, it's not so good anymore, isn't it? So that's very important. You can leverage other people's money. I've touched base with this earlier as well. It's very important to plan accordingly and to, in my opinion, always use interest-only mortgages. Uh, you can always position yourself in order to make a purchase, and it can be a strategic purchase, and after a couple of years, refinance, release some equity, and go again. But those type of things come from due diligence from the beginning, because it's a plan in itself. It's not Russian roulette where you just can refinance because you think the area will be fine. That's not how it works. So it's very important to have a plan from the beginning in order to leverage others people's money. Uh, yeah, property builds generational wealth. We already touched base 2 times or 3 times, I think, about this. However, it's true, and it's very important. Those are the three aspects, in my opinion, that leave something behind, and most of the time they act as a pension as well. So property generally acts as a pension when done right. So if you're the type of person that plans a little bit before the retirement age, you'll be very good taken care of. Definitely. Let me check yeah, so the right property choice. Well, obviously in a very short, in a very short, very short terms. However, I do like this model to give a little bit of context. We touched base earlier about NG1 and NG7. Those will go into the first, the too cheap, looks good on paper, but risky in practice. I'm not saying you can find great opportunities. Still, I'm just saying, oh, if you zoom out and you look, things are not really the same. So it's very important to not be in that area, to not be in the too expensive area where the rental income and rental increase doesn't add up. Don't get me wrong, there are areas maybe where the capital growth is so strong, maybe next to an outstanding school, or maybe next to Sainsbury, or maybe next to certain hotspots that capital growth is kind of prone inevitably to grow um, significantly. But usually, when I understand the investor needs, I tend to go into a balanced growth and where returns are strong, rental income, and the capital growth is strong as well. I tend to find that sweet spot. I can give some examples. That's not a problem. However, I will say properties on a scale from 1 to 10, I will go as an area. I will go from properties that are 6 to 8 when it comes to the area, what's the rental income, when it comes to capital growth, because you are protected and you also obviously need to take in consideration the money that you can invest. But it's very important to be protected and have a balanced growth and strong returns. The right property choice. Um, yeah, so I've just put a couple things related to Nottingham, so to speak. They're just some logos. So Nottingham is truly trying to get into to be a city carbon neutral. The population is growing all the time. Not to mention the population growth is significant in my opinion. Everyone wants to live here, especially when it comes to families. There are one of the best university in the United Kingdom, Nottingham University. Nottingham Trent University as well is a very good university. One of the biggest bioscience medical parks in the United Kingdom is in Nottingham, a huge research central for the whole Europe, not for United Kingdom, for the whole Europe. So then you can there are other things as well. The index, the quality life index is quite high. Uh, you can see that Nottingham is a center for technology, for sustainable living, and those type of things in the future will only create a city that will have a very strong trajectory. It will be a huge, significant city in the United Kingdom. Who understand that from who understand that who understands from that point of view from now, it will make a huge difference in the following years. So yeah, well, the biggest employers, one of the biggest, or city with one of the biggest employers, Boots, Experian, oh, one of the best positioned cities in the United Kingdom, the heart of the United Kingdom, if you like. So there are a lot of reasons Nottingham is one of the best places to invest. So why is buy to let one of the best investments? Where is the best area to invest and why? And our hands-free service and what to expect. So there are a little bit changes. However, rental increase. So if we look on the price index of private rents from 2015 to 2020, well, 2015 to 2025, the you can see the growth is almost exponential. So just from a rental increase point of view, rents tend to increase year after year. I would say between mm, maximum 8%. However, I've seen actually more than that.
Just on that
Um,
point before you move on,
yeah,
one of the things, and you actually go to the next slide, actually, I think you've got it on here.
yeah,
Yeah, one of the reasons why you'll find that rental increases in Nottingham, especially, is because of people that work in Nottingham now, because Nottingham is becoming a hub. Banking as well. There's a huge banking sector just around the centre of Nottingham. But people will work in Nottingham and therefore will take up a flat rather than just a HMO. They want their own space. So therefore, there's a huge demand on properties. But even though you talk
yeah.
about properties being built, there isn't that many properties being built in Nottingham compared to the demand that's enforcing it
Oh,
on, especially when you think about students, you've got workers coming in, you've got people that will be, working full time or temporarily in Nottingham.
uh, yeah, that's true. When it comes to um, when it comes to rental demand, I am contact, yeah, estate agencies, letting agencies contact me daily to ask if I have properties for rent.
Mm.
There is a huge shortage of properties for rent in Nottingham. When I say huge, I generally mean that it's quite a big problem. There are a lot of properties that are being built in part of the council regeneration project. However, those are it's quite a long project. They're expected to build 50,000 properties by 2041. It's an amazing achievement, don't get me wrong. However, the demand is now. I mean, people need a place to rent now. So yeah, when it comes to, so if you look on the chart, there's East Midlands and London. When you compare the demand, they're almost the same. However, the prices, and specifically in Nottingham, compared to London, they're not quite the same. I think you'll agree with me. What I'm trying to say is that you still have that opportunity to enter a market where the prices are significantly lower than London, and also have the same yield as in London and the same demand. So, from an investment point of view, I would say that's a good decision. Uh, Capital appreciation. So, this is the UK house prices index. However, on what I would like to touch base when it comes to capital appreciation, I think it's very important to know how to position yourself. There are some places in Nottingham, I can give examples. However, where the capital appreciation is so high and it will continue to be high for a lot of reasons. Good schools, close to hospital, close to big parts, so on and so forth. But to give you an example, in 2015, properties that were 120, 140, now they're 240, 220. So, in my opinion, that's good capital appreciation. So if you know how to position yourself, I'm not promising those type of numbers. Don't get me wrong. I wouldn't say that's a good advice. However, that's the reality. So if you know exactly what you're doing and you understand where to position yourself, you can expect decent, more than decent capital appreciation. So I think that's crucial. It's definitely crucial because that trend will continue to grow. Nothing will change. So yeah, my promise is to be loyal. I put loyalty first. I put people first, and usually value follows. So it's loyal and Radu. It's people first, and I always make sure I retain all my customers, and we go for the long run, not the short one. So other than that, I think you got everything from me.
Yes, and what I will say is,
Yep.
if you want to contact Radu, there will
Yeah.
be a calendar link below this video, so you can just click on, have some time with Radu, see how we can help you. There will be website information as well that will be in the description box, so please do check those out. But Radu, I'll just finish off today saying thank you ever so much for taking us through this process. I do think that property sources are well known and respected in the United States, not so much well understood in the United Kingdom, but you do bring tremendous value to people. And
I know. I know.
eventually, as Brits will cotton on that actually, yes, we do need property sources, realtors, if you like.
Yeah. Sure. No, I completely agree. Thank you for inviting me, and yeah, I think everything went great.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay.